Happy almost Atelier Yumia Day, which is so beautiful to really say.
Who's he?
Kentman!
He's not important!
Okay. Hello, gamers and collectors. It's your boy Kentman, bringing you that JRPG and fan service content you deserve. And I can't believe that we are one day away from Atelier Yumia. Now, I had the honor from Kyo Tecmo to play this game a week in advance, and I have been having the time of my life with this game. Not really sleeping at all. I dropped almost everything for this particular game. I wasn't going to make this type of video at first because I didn't think it was necessary. However, there are a lot of different versions of Atelier Yumia out there, as this game is going to be multi-platform, coming out for all systems. And because they released the demo, I thought it would be best to show what version has the best qualities that would suit your best experience for Atelier Yumia. And this is not to say which version you should buy. This is just kind of a guide to kind of help you understand which versions you should buy. Now, just keep in mind that I won't be covering the Xbox version one because I don't have an Xbox, but I'm assuming that it's going to be in the similar graphic capabilities of a PS5, and I won't be covering the PlayStation 5 Pro because I don't have one yet, because it's way too much money still, and I didn't pay for one yet. That was a sentence. Now, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch version, I already kind of went in already knowing that the game was going to take a hit within the graphics and the quality of the textures. However, I was actually very surprised on how well this game did run. Now, when it comes to the cutscenes, they ran pretty well. There was no stutters whatsoever, but I'm pretty sure that the cutscenes are pre-rendered already to make it easier on the Switch. The one thing that I was really trying to figure out how well this game would run, which is in the overall. And it's a marvel how they managed to make this game run. When you're actually walking around and seeing all the enemies on the map and looking at all the items on the ground, because there's a lot of materials that you can pick up that's scattered through all of that, as well with all the background textures and all that happening with the waterfalls in the background and everything that's just walking around on the map. This is a marvel. I quickly kind of forgot that I was playing the Nintendo Switch version because this game is just that fun to play, and I was just kind of just casually just playing the game. It felt very fresh, it felt very fun. Enemy placements was very wrong. Sometimes they would kind of stutter a little bit, but for the most part, it ran pretty well. I mean, if you can move past the textures, which are very bad. I mean, in this version of the game, it is very bad. The water doesn't look good when you're walking through it as much. It looks like they're just kind of placed there, and the textures on rocks and certain bridges and stuff doesn't load in correctly. And then you can also kind of see some flickerings in the cutscenes sometimes, as well as when there's like supposed to be wind in the background for the leaves and the grass moving. There's nothing. It almost kind of feels very stagnant and dull. But if you can move past all of that, you have a pretty good port. There were certain things that was in the game that I was expecting that was not going to be pleasable, like the waterfalls in the background are actually falling and moving, has all the items on the ground, and that you're actually able to do all the motions while the enemies are moving is actually a pretty impressive feat. I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised if Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom was able to do it. I feels like this game, being a more newer game, but still in the same realm, would be able to do it as well. And you know, Gus and Kyo Tecmo, they did that. And this is a pure game to go on the go and play this version of the game. It was actually a true treat. The other thing that I was very impressed about was the combat, which is the second most important part about an Atelier game, besides the gathering and synthesizing, is very fast-paced just as much as the other versions of the game. I was going in expecting that the game wasn't going to have the fast-paced action, that it was going to be slowed down a bit, and no. When it came to the combat, I was having just as much fun as me playing on the PS5 version. It was fluid, it was fast, it was quick, it had all the animations intact. I mean, of course, it's still the particles and a lot of the flashy stuff wasn't there, but the core elements of the game is intact. I was going into battles a lot on the Switch version because I wanted to see how well the system could run. And from my experience, I didn't see any dips or any stutters or weird glitches or anything like that. It ran very well. And I'm not talking about within the tutorial level. I'm talking about in the open world where other elements are happening with the water, the backgrounds, and other things happening going on. Everything was intact. This game on the Switch truly did impress me. There was even an instance when I was going through this ruin and I didn't think that the game on the Switch was going to be able to put all the dirt and grime on Yumia, and it actually did. It actually managed to make it look like she was dirty and wet and muddy, and it actually looked really good. I was actually surprised. This game on the Switch truly did impress me. Now, if you are one of the people that only has the ability to play the Nintendo Switch version, or if you have Atelier games that's on the Switch and you want to buy Atelier Yumia on the Switch to complete your whole collection, I am happy to report you will have a great time if you can move past the graphical limitations of the textures not looking all that right, the particles not being all the way there, and it kind of looking dull on certain characters for cutscenes because of the lights and shadows being a little bit turned back, as well as no wind particles or wind effects on the clothing or anything like that. But more for the core part of the game of just gathering, synthesizing, fighting, walking around in the open world, you have a beautiful, amazing game. And that's a feat in itself that they managed to make this game work the way it does on the Switch. That's impressive to me. And now we're going to talk about the Steam version. And I have to say, I kind of wish I would have played this version of the game versus the PS5, but I'll save my thoughts for the PS5 version because the Steam version is the crispity of crisp that you will ever see Atelier Yumia be. It has the frame rate, it has the quality, it has the good graphics. Everything about this version is amazing of how well this game looks on a good hardware. Now, that's the thing. You have to have good hardware, and I'm at the luxury that I have a pretty good PC. I don't have the most beefiest of machines, but I have a pretty good one. I'll put my specs on the screen. I'm not that computer savvy, so I can't say it offhand, but I'll put up on the screen if you guys are curious. I was able to play this game in its flawless, most beautiful potential. Every particle, every instance of this game shined through so much. Now, even though this version is very beautiful, there is a drawback to one setting, and that is the light shaft setting. This game makes the lighting and certain effects bloom way too high. And especially in certain cutscenes where the bleed of the character kind of bleeds out the character a little bit. It's almost like if someone was coloring in the lines, but they went out the line a little bit. Especially when you went outside in the open air and the light was bleeding out and it was like very high saturated to the point that you couldn't even see what was going on down there. And when you turned off the light shaft, everything kind of went back to what it was supposed to be and the lighting seemed very normal. But for the sake of this tutorial, I left it on because I wanted to see what it looked like in the overworld. And I have to say that leaving it on was the best choice I did make, because in the overworld, this game shines so brightly. It looks so good. It looks so clean and crisp. Everything about this game looked amazing. There were so many times where I just stopped and my jaw dropped of how gorgeous this game looked. From the water splashing up off of the water, and in the battle, the fast-paced motions of everything, just how quickly everything ran and fell. There was particles flying everywhere, shading everywhere. The water was moving, the wind was moving. Everything was just so crystal clear that I was actually truly surprised how good this version truly looked. And one of my favorite spots where there's flowers everywhere and there's flowers blooming in the wind and the grass moving everywhere, it looked absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. It was the first place I went because I really wanted to see what this spot looked like on PC, and I was quickly blown away on how gorgeous it looked. Oh my goodness, it looked amazing. I'm glazing this version of the game because it looked impressive. It is almost astounding how well this game really truly looked on Steam, especially when the day and night sequences hit and it changed different sequences of the day. In the afternoon when it hit that sunset and I came back to the spot, oh my God, it looked so clean. It looked so good. It looks good. I was just like, there's no way this version is this good. Of course, I had to check and see how quality looking the dirt and grind on Yumia looked when you go through the ruins, the same one I did for the Switch, and absolutely stunning. So this is what it looks like on standard, and even still, with standard, this game looks impressive. Even with the lighting and the shadows being on standard, it is still a marvel of a port. This is what everything on the lowest setting, and on balanced, on 30 FPS. Now, things still move around, as you can still move around the flowers and grass. The particles and stuff is still moving around as well. Now, it doesn't look as crisp on this house, as the textures are still kind of loading in, and it's not as crisp as it needs to be, and the water doesn't look as clean. But even still, it's still a little bit of a boost better than the Switch version, but this is practically the same as what it will look like on the Switch with this type of quality of the textures and stuff. It's hard for me to truly say how well this game will run because I'm not using a, not beefy computer to play it. My computer is still very beefy to play it on these low settings. But even if you had to choose to play this on this version like this, it still looks really, really good. And this is what it looks like on its highest potential. 144 frames. It's just unbelievable how gorgeous this looks. The fact that the grass here moves. It moves when you walk through it. Not even Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was able to do that on PS5. I don't know how well it looks on PC because I don't have the PC port yet. This looks insane. Insane. This is going to probably be the best version for you to play because you literally get to see everything from Yumia's clothes moving in the wind, the leaves and falling from the sky, blowing in the wind, the leaves and grass blowing in the wind on the grass, on the flowers here. Everything from the monsters in the background fighting to the waterfall that I keep directing, that you can see how flourishing it looks from the trees up top there. Everything in this game looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous this game looks on evening. Oh my goodness. And now we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 version. And even though I just glazed up the Steam version very much a lot, I'm still drooling at the mouth, I still love the PlayStation 5 version. And this is where the point where I wish I had a PlayStation 5 Pro to show you how good the game would possibly look with the same settings of the PC. If you're wondering why I went with the PlayStation 5 version from Kyo Tecmo, is one, this is where all my Atelier games are, and I like to keep all my Atelier games in the same place for PlayStation. I love trophy hunting on PlayStation 5. It gives me that good dopamine, as well as I do love physical media versus digital. I will mostly be playing my adventure on PS5, and this game is just as impressive as the PC version. And in the PS5 version, I'm a little ahead. I'm not going to explain the story stuff or anything like that, so I don't spoil people too much. This is just a different color of the main Yumia outfit. But this game still has the same type of quality that the Steam version has. And honestly, I think the lighting in this game is a little bit better. I feels like it's in tuned a lot better. I feels like it blends a lot better. Now, when it comes to the frame rate, I think it's a lot better on the Steam version. And when it comes to how crisp the game is, it's better on the Steam version. But you won't really see that much of a difference from the PS5 version from the Steam version. Like, as you can see, the same particles as the water going through it is the same. The waterfall rushing is still looking just as good. How good the fog looks in the air, the particles of everything else flying from her staff, the chips of the rocks falling off, and of course the action just as fast paced as ever. Nothing misses a beat from what we have to do for this. There's no stuttering at all in the PS5 version. There's no pop-ins or anything like that I've seen. You still get the moving of the grass and flowers. And look at this, it looks just as good as on the PC version. You can move through the flowers and they move as you move through them. The leaves falling off the trees and going through is just as good. And it's just an absolute beautiful game. Beautiful game. I'm gonna say, it looks just as good, but it feels like a little bit better on the PS5, honestly. Now, I took a picture on both of them on their highest settings for the PS5 and the PC. They look both really, really good. I am very impressed for how well the PS5 version looks, and I'm having a great time. The only thing I would say that's a little bit off is the grime and dirt on Yumia. Now, obviously it's still there and it looks really, really good. Like, you see how wet her clothes are and how grime and dirty she is. It's a little bit more noticeable on the Steam version because of how good the frame rate is and how crisp the graphics is on there. But even still, it looks really good. For all my fan service lovers out there, because you know we're going to know and want to know, I am happy to report that the fan service in this game is fluent through all versions of the games. So if you're coming to Yumia, you see that? You see the little bit of jiggle there? Beautiful. Now, I don't have Nina yet, so I can't really show her gloriousnesses, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. You're going to have to find that out for yourself as we play. But I'm happy to report that all versions has some good fan service. I mean, you already get to see the fan service with Yumia, how beautiful and amazing she is, from her amazing legs and beautiful ass, as well as Isla also has some good fan service. I really do love Isla. I think she is a super charming and adorable, and she's growing on me. Not as much as Yumia, but she is really up there as one of my favorite characters in the series. I love her wit. I love her charm. I like that she doesn't take no shit from nobody. Well, it has a little bit of jiggle. You can't notice it right away, but it is there. All versions, when it comes to fan service, it's a-okay. Now, I can't specifically say which versions you should play. It's all gonna be up to you and your preference of how you like gaming on the go, on PC, on the PS5 with the controller in your hand. It's all gonna be up to you. Also, convenience of which version that you're able to buy. That is all I have for this video when it comes to the comparisons between all the different versions of Yumia. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys thought. Which version are you going to be picking up? Are you excited for this game? As you should, because I feel like Yumia is set up to be one of the greatest Atelier games ever to be made, especially when it comes to the marketing. The marketing for this game has been phenomenal, from the different art that we've been getting, from the different videos we've been getting, and then also the different crossovers. We had one with the Tales of Grace's F, and now we had the one with Tekken 8, which is phenomenal. It's super cool that Yumia is throwing off a Hahachi Puni off a cliff. And if Yumia shows up in Tekken, I will buy that game twice. Once for PlayStation 5 and PC, because I'll play it on both. And that would be amazing to see. If that actually happens, that would be pretty cool. Also, it is shown that Yumia is the #1 selling game right now, pre-order game, on Japan, and I'm assuming that it will definitely rise for that as well. Yumia is in a pretty good spot, and Tecmo and Gus has been doing a phenomenal job, and tomorrow is the day the game comes out, so you all can dry out the game if you didn't play the demo because you're waiting for the full release, and you get to experience everything that this game has to offer. And I cannot wait for you guys to experience this beautiful, amazing story along with this beautiful, amazing adventure, because it is a marvel of a time. That is it for me. Let me know down in the comments down below. If I missed anything or if I didn't go over anything, I was confused on anything, let me know down in the comments down below. This is my first time trying to do something like this, so I'm trying to experiment with different types of videos. So if you guys would like to see more of this in the future, let me know down in the comments down below how I did on this video. In that regards, I'm trying to hit 10K by the end of the year, and with your help and support, I could definitely do that. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video next time. Bye me.